We're going to do the Econoland game. We're going to run it back. Some of the people were not here, right? And some of you probably don't remember. Which side of the room was households last time? Okay, we'll flip it then. You guys are going to be households. You guys are going to be businesses. We've got 32 minutes, so we've got plenty of time. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Cool. All right. So, Heidi? Okay, so we're going to do the Econoland game. For those of you who were not here on Monday, this is just a simulation of the circular flow model that you guys are working on. Half of you will break off into the household section, right? If you are a household, you will start with a box of rocks, bolts, and eyes. Does anybody remember what the rocks, bolts, and eyes stand for? Land, labor, and capital. Good, right? We are born, not metal, yes, land, capital, labor. We are born with the ability to work, right? We work by selling our resources, i.e. land, labor, and capital, to gain an income. What do you have to start a business? Money. So if you start off as a business, you're going to start off with money, right? In order to make, well, what's the point of a business? To make more money, right? To make revenue, hopefully to make a profit, right? So you're going to take your money and do what with it? You're going to buy resources, right? As a business, any business, before you can make the good or service that you plan on selling to make your profit, you have to buy resources. Usually that comes in the form of employing individuals, maybe buying land, buying machinery. Right? A restaurant, they're going to have chefs, they're going to have waiters, they're going to have host or hostess, they're going to have all the actual laborers. They're going to have the food products, which would be natural resource. They're going to have the building. They're going to have tables and chairs and utensils. All of that is capital, right? So every business is going to have to pay money to gain resources. Once they have those resources, once you have, like individual ingredients and you have a chef, what are you going to do with that? You're going to cook. You're going to turn your resources into a product, and then you're going to create a market by selling that back to the households who have earned an income. Right? So at the end of the game, there will be 2 winners. Right? There will be someone from the household side. How do you win as a household? What is your end goal? Econos, right? So for those of you who weren't here on Monday, once a business obtains a rock, a bolt, and an eye, they bring it to the factory and they can exchange the rock, bolt, and eye for an econo. Econos in our economic system, in Econoland, econos represent all goods and services. This is the food at the restaurant, this is new cars, clothes, houses, watches, vacations, whatever you're in. Right? So the household with the most stuff wins, right? Household with the most econos, and the business with the most what? Money, right? The business with the most money. Now remember, we talked about it on Monday and kind of on Wednesday. This is a fixed pie economy, right? So in the regular circular flow, we've talked about how there's government and foreign sector and all of that, or did in the video at least, right? The government's going to tax, the government's going to add welfare and subsidies, they're going to increase money supply through, the Mint and the Fed and all of that stuff. In here, we're going to start with $200. 10 businesses with $20 each. That number will not change. There's no increase or decrease, which means if one business makes a profit, what has to be true? Somebody else has to lose money, right? In the real economy, that's not always true. Can McDonald's and Burger King both make a profit? Obviously, right? They both make millions or billions a year. They're very successful. and they do the exact same thing. They are direct competitors, but they're both successful. In here, however, every time somebody wins, somebody loses. Right? And it's the same thing with the households. It's not as easy to see, but just like businesses compete against each other, households do as well. There is going to be a limited number of rocks, bolts, and eyes. That means at the end of the game, there is already a predetermined number of economies that can be made, a predetermined set of goods and services that our economy can make, right? It's obviously a much larger scale, but that's also kind of true. There's a fixed set of natural resources. Eventually, those are going to run out, right? So when it comes down to it, every econo that you gain means what? It's an econo somebody else didn't get, right? So we are in direct competition, right? Now, who sets prices in a circular flow model? And the household. It's a negotiation, right? Now, in the real world, yes, it feels like businesses set prices. But if a business sets a price that's completely unrealistic, what happens? Nobody buys it. So what do they have to do? They have to lower the price. There is a negotiation. It just looks a little bit different in the real world. Okay. So I'm going to pass out 10 households. When you get a box, just double check it real quick. Make sure that it has exactly what it's supposed to have in it, as in what's on the card. If it doesn't, let me know and I'll get you set up. Liam, Justin, and I. Are you guys are good? You guys are good? Double check here. Remember, on the money side, you need 20 bucks. 20 exact. Right? Is there anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. You have extra? Okay. Real quick, for the people, especially on Monday who were not here, okay, we'll do a super quick walkthrough. Okay, if I am a household, I have rocks, bolts, and eyes. She's a business. Step one, right? We have to make a transaction. So I come up and say, hey, I will sell you a rock, a bolt, and an eye for $20.
Wow, that is.
Do you have to accept that? You don't have to, right? It's a negotiation. Where do the prices come from? They come from the negotiation, right? So maybe she makes a counter offer, right? We get down to it. Maybe how about a rock, bolt, and an eye for $4? Okay, so rock, bolt, I. Now, I as a business or as a household just made income. Now she has her resources. What does she need to do with her resources? Turn them into, not sell them yet. You got to turn them into an econo. So she goes to the factory, she puts in, you have to have one of each, rock, bolt, I. She comes out with an econo, right? Now, here's the catch. If she comes back to me, because I need that econo to win, and she needs the money to win. If she comes back to me to try to make a deal on the econo, what's going to happen? What's the absolute most I can pay her back right now? Exactly what she gave. Can she make a profit? No, she can't do it. Right now, if I sold other resources to other people, she could come back to me. Maybe I have a little bit extra money. But it helps if you diversify your interaction. If you just try to work with your friends in class, you're going to have a very limited amount of circulation. You are better off dealing with some people, going back, dealing with different people, maybe coming back to those friends later on once they've had time for the economy to develop a little. Right? The end of the game, 2 winners. If you're starting with money, you want to end with money. If you're starting with resources, you want to end with e-commerce. Right? Any questions? Yes. It's okay. Yeah, all of the eyes are really banged up. Are you really missing it all? Yeah, it's okay. All right, we are going to do a brief round. So I need you to think about what this means. We're only going to do a 5-minute round. So you're going to have to work quickly. The economy needs to develop quickly so that we're not wasting resources. Right? You've got 5 minutes. Go. All right. Wow.
I'll give you,
You're on camera, so don't cheat.
Wait, I got 7 there. Oh, wait.
Remember, we're working quick. 3.5 minutes. Anthony, from the cover. Remember, buy low, sell high. Whatever you pay.
I
2 minutes. One and a half minutes. Just working real quick. 1 minute. Hey, business, how much are you? She needs to sell a condo. 45 seconds. 30 seconds. Don't get caught with resources wasted. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. Right. All right. All deals are final. All deals are final. Go back to your spots.
No.
So, real quick, remember, if you're on the money side, you're looking for profit. If you are on the household side, it's a little bit easier. All you're doing is counting as condos, right? Now, especially those who were here on Monday, is there anything, did it feel different knowing you had a shorter time period? What did that do? Okay, I will say, I don't know if it was the fact that you have already experienced the simulation or if it was the shorter time frame, but I noticed people seemed more willing to take lower prices. People were kind of speeding up, especially whenever it was 1 minute. I think it was Olivia, she was like, no, I'm not going to take that. And then I said 1 minute, she said, okay, whatever. And she just took it, right? When you know it's between getting absolutely nothing, right, in the end of the game, you just want to take what you can get. That's kind of the way that businesses are as well. You think about what happens after the day after Valentine's Day, what happens? Chocolate, the teddy bears, all of that stuff goes on sale. Why? Because the window on that market is closing. That is the exact same as somebody standing up and saying 1 minute, right? Absolutely, right? I mean, and it's a great deal because as the demand goes down and they know that that market window is closing, right? It shifts the value of the money, right? What was the most scarce resource? What was the hardest thing to find? Are there 4 of them? Are there any bolts left? Who's got bolts? Who's got rocks? Who's got eyes? So Liam Liam's the only one. Okay, well, if we had let the market carry on, if we had let the market carry on, eventually people would have realized that eyes were so hard to come by, and he would have been able to get a little bit more. Maybe not 5 an eye, because it's going to be hard to make a profit. But 2 an eye seems reasonable. If he's the only one with eyes left, eventually that could be the make or break, right? Okay, on the econo side, who has at least 3 econos? Who's got 4? 5? How many do you have already? 6 econos. Nice. Okay. Very good. 6 econos. Now, what was your average price per resource? Like when you bought a rocket bolt eye, what were you paying per? Yeah. Oh, what were you getting? Sorry. How much were people paying for the set? So you were getting like $2 per resource. Dang, and people were paying that. Hey, that's good. Who were you? I got some stuff to sell later, y'all can get. Okay, so selling for high, and then what were you paying for an economy? Yeah, I mean that's hard to beat. If you're able to get a significant income from selling your stuff, and the rest of the market is keeping the price of econos down, you're golden. If everybody else had required that much money for their resources, it would have driven the price of all the econos up, and it would have been a little bit tougher. But she played the game. Yeah, how many? Oh, yeah, she made a bunch. Did you make any money? Right. And so, what were you selling them for? About 4 or 5 a piece?
Yeah, I wanted 5. I was getting some 5, then wanted less.
Okay. So, but if you think about that, she's got 16 and 2 econos left. If she was able to sell those 4 or 4.5 a piece, right, average amount, then she would have been at $25, which would have been a good profit. But having econos left over for a business is the same as having like a warehouse full of goods you can't sell. The value's there, but it doesn't do you any good at the end of the day. So you bundled them up 2 for 10? Yeah.
Here, 10 for 2 of them. And I was like, okay,
Heck yeah. All right. I mean, if you're in a business, you're not going to take a worse offer if you have a better offer there. Right? On the business side, who at least broke even? Who hit 20? That's okay.
I'm not giving you the time.
Yeah, it's a different game. It really is. It's also a lot harder to keep up with how much you spent versus how much you're gaining.
So I kept I would get $4. I was like, no 5. I gave people like extra money. Girl, give me those 5.
For the resources? So you bid yourself up.
Yes.
Smart. Who's got 22? 23, 24, 25. And how much do you have? Alexa, how much do you have?